Shout outs to Chillin. Chillin and I are teaming at Big House.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he gonna go Samus?
We talked about our team. He was like, yeah, I'm really gonna have to brush up on teaming with DK. So and here's my response to that is the really great part about the DK Samus team in Melee is that while Samus controls the ground,
Shut up.
DK controls the other ground. And that's how you play teams in 2018, folks.
Oh god, that's horrible.
So get ready for that at Big House 2018.
Wow, that's horrible. God, so much.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 22 of Analog, where in a few years there will only be one remaining god in Melee, and that's Smash God.
When we get Hungrybox to retire, that's the goal now, is when you change your name back.
I guess so, yeah.
If we can get Hungrybox, retire, bitch.
Then I'm Smash God again.
Yeah, guys, Armada fucking retired from Melee.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like this time he's really coming back, to be honest.
Retired from competing in singles.
Competing in singles, yes,
Yeah.
yes. But the fact that it's that specific is one of the reasons I think that we may have really seen the last of him.
In singles?
Yeah.
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 Because Armada has retired before.
Yeah, he has. And that was in Melee's still grassroots phase.
Yeah.
Now it's like there's a great deal still for him to gain to continue competing.
Yeah.
In the form of monetary compensation from tournament winnings,
right.
Glory, and so forth.
Right.
But
which is why he came back in the first place.
Yeah.
Sorta.
Yeah, and he loves the game and everything.
Yeah.
But for him to, despite all of that, say that he's not going to come back, does have a feeling of finality to it. If you guys haven't seen it yet, this news is pretty hot off the press.
Like a few hours ago.
A few hours ago at the time of this recording, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you check out his video. He put out a 13-minute video where he just talks about his feelings towards it. He still is going to be competing in doubles and commentating and streaming. Honestly, I'm happy for him on a personal level.
Yeah, me too.
Because just looking at the things that it did for Zero, retiring from competing, he's so much happier now.
Yeah, he is.
So I'm hoping to see that kind of energy come out from this whole
Yeah, I hope so too. It'll be interesting because I feel though like Zero has always been, if not a natural entertainer, a natural content creator. He's a very bubbly, gregarious guy. And Armada's perfectly nice.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy. Hopefully what we see from this is that he has a chance to polish his content creation skills. But, it's not exactly the same. Where Zero had a pretty set streaming thing and played a lot of other games on stream already before he even retired from Smash 4. But
yeah, I know since Armada's like commitment to streaming, it has been a grind for him. Like everything he does is very intentional. He's like, I'm gonna pick up Odyssey to learn speedrunning because it's good for the stream and that kind of thing. But one way or another, like he got to the point where he started making people care about his opinions just because they're his opinions. And that's not going to change, and people are still going to watch for that.
True.
But this is all just a small part of a large shift in the Melee community. I think Zero quitting Smash 4 after 2 or 3 years is definitely big, but it feels more... Melee has been around forever, and Armada has been in the top 5 for 9 years.
3.5 of the 5 gods are gone. I'm counting Mango as half gone.
Yeah, Armada's retired, PP's out of commission.
M2K's writing his book.
M2K's writing his book.
Been talking about retiring from Melee for like a while now. And he's definitely not. I very much doubt M2K is going to play a lot of Melee once Ultimate comes out.
I don't think he plans to play a lot of Melee.
Yeah.
From what I hear, he's like, very ready to not compete in Melee as seriously as he used to.
Yep.
And then Mango still enters, but that might be the extent of it.
Which is why overall, I think this is good for Melee. It's not as big a deal as it would be if any other god retired, really, because Armada's been cutting down on his attendances recently anyways.
Yeah.
But what that means is that we do get things like Zane, Hungry Box Winners Finals, that sort of stuff.
That's true.
And, I mean, I gotta think literally what happened is Armada saw Zane beat Hungry Box at Shine, and he's like, I can leave now.
Someone else has taken the torch.
They don't need me anymore.
And it's not Fox.
My job here is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, like straight up. I feel like that probably, at the very end, he's like, I know Melee is still going to be exciting. And I do think Armada, like, thought of himself as
a protector.
A protector
against
of Melee.
Puff.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
You talk about that all the time.
Yeah. Of feeling protective
Melee.
over Melee. Yeah. It's definitely a thing. Like, and I think this year a lot of us have started feeling pretty nostalgic about it because I think in some sense a lot of us realized that some form of era is coming to an end,
which is awesome. I'm so happy.
Yeah. No, this is all good for Melee.
Yeah.
It's not like Melee is stopping. Melee is, for the foreseeable future, Melee is not going to stop purely because of how good the game is. And that's hard to say for any game. For literally the gameplay to be that good that you can feel confident that it's going to keep being played. But, with Ultimate on the horizon, with our Smash 4 brethren already giving up on their game, it's definitely like an interesting atmosphere.
So you know what the bigger, like the biggest consequence of Armada retiring is, right? You know what it means for you.
What does it mean?
It means that when Ultimate is released, you have to fly to Sweden, go to an Ultimate tournament, and play Armada in Ultimate because you were supposed to beat him.
I know.
You were supposed to beat him in Melee. You're supposed to beat him in Smash Masters.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that.
Yeah.
You can't beat him in Melee anymore unless you beat him in doubles. So you have to go beat him in Ultimate because we both know Armada's going to play Ultimate for 3 months competitively and then he's going to quit.
And there's going to be a certain list of people who get wins on him. And,
yes, and you
I got to be on that list.
Need to be one of them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, man.
So I want to conspire with Leva. I want to get you into some whatever fucking European tournament, and I want to pay off Leva to seed you against Armada.
Yeah.
Leva doesn't even do seeding, I don't
Let's make it happen, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm down.
Okay, good. So let's fly Rishi to Europe.
I'll be playing Ultimate. Yeah, I mean, it does. Like, I'm one of the many people who definitely the thought crossed your mind, like, I'm not going to get that chance to beat him now. But, like, I don't know. My gut reaction, I didn't want to make it about me, like, not getting to beat him.
I mean, this is increased Swedish Delight stock even higher.
I know.
Now. Swedish is just going up the rankings.
Yeah.
Swedish, Jeff, and Amsa.
Yeah.
Well, no, Captain Jack really.
And Captain Jack.
Because Amsa beat him, but he doesn't have a winning record on him. Captain Jack and Silent Spectre are the only two players to have ever had a winning record on him, I think. That's
crazy.
Yeah.
Like lifetime?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That is crazy. I don't know, man. It is what it is. Like, Armada's record is the least tarnished of any other players, and it's going to stay that way forever.
I was playing Melee with Lego before this, and I was talking to him about this because we saw it when you messaged me. The other reason, I was like, yeah, that's good for Melee, and the other reason it's good for Melee is that Armada's storyline is, like, pretty exhausted. I don't mean any slight to Armada
Yeah,
here,
I know what you mean.
But, like, the big thing with Armada was who was going to beat him.
Yeah.
And that's over.
Yeah.
And it's maybe not the ending anyone thought we would get, but it is over.
How else was it going to end, man? 5 people would figure out his number?
No, I meant, like, most people thought it was going to be Wizzy. That's all I meant. And, like,
yeah,
it's just not
I guess.
I just meant it's not, like, the sort of like, oh, after all these times he finally did it. It's like, oh, Swedish did it? Okay, sick. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like his storyline at this point was like there is an inevitability due to the fact that people are practicing and time moves forward that someone's gonna beat him, and that is the beat of his narrative at that point. Except for, is he number one? Yes or no?
My water bottle.
Yeah, your water bottle's
left
been
my water
sitting in my
bottle
apartment
here
for like 2 or 3 weeks.
3 weeks ago, and I forgot to get it last week.
Yeah, I forgot to mention it. I kept seeing it. Anyways, but like his storyline is literally, first question you ask, is he number one in the world right now? Yes or no? You know, there's only a handful of players who have ever been at the point where it's like you're either best in the world or you're not. Yeah. Everyone else is like, all right, sick, you're top 5, good job.
Yeah.
And then the second question you ask is, can anyone beat this guy?
Well, and the final question is he still the greatest of all time? And I think he has still, I think he's still obviously the greatest of all time. I think
trying to take that title away from him is impossible at this point.
Yeah, although, I don't know, man. I have been thinking recently, I know it's nothing compared to Armada's dominance, which has been so many years combined, but HBox over the past 2 years is sort of ridiculous.
Yeah, we definitely take it for granted how dominant he has been.
I think HBox really has moved up to the point where like HBox is probably in the top 5 of all time now. If you had
I don't think there's any question. Yeah.
Blur and Tafo do that list again, it's like,
yeah, for sure.
It's Armada Mango top 2 probably still. Maybe Ken is top 2, but Armada Mango Ken.
Yeah.
And then it's like HBox and
Mewtwo
King, right?
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 4 previously active gods and Ken.
Yeah.
And PP is somewhere in the next 5. Maybe the next.
Although
person.
Probably lower than the rest.
Yeah.
I would still put PP lower than
Ken.
Than people from that era too.
Like as in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an argument, but for sure, HBox top 5.
Yeah.
Armada, Mango, you know.
Yeah. Which is not what they said before.
Yeah.
I don't think.
But like, it is. I don't know. No matter what HBox accomplishes now, like, his legacy is different. It can't be the greatest of all time.
Right, because he didn't establish himself as the premier among premiers.
Yeah.
When everyone was playing, which sucks for HBox. And I mean, he did it for a while when everyone except PPMD was playing, but it's still not the same.
I mean, HBox has plenty to be proud of in his Melee legacy, right? As do all of the gods, but like strictly in terms of that title, greatest of all time.
Yeah,
like it goes to Armada.
I think.
Sorry, I forget what I always say. I would say Mango's the greatest of all time, but Armada's the best of all time.
The boat, yeah. I think, you know what's interesting is all of those players, those 6, the 5 gods and Ken, this is true of pretty much everyone in the top 10 of all time. It's sort of a requisite requirement. But they revolutionized not just a character, but the metagame.
Yeah, they make a major shakeup somewhere.
In how Melee is played.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Mango,
what do you say? Yeah.
Drift, but also just the original tier list jump for Puff.
Yeah.
Is Mango.
Mango has done a lot for the meta.
Hungrybox, obvious. Armada
carries his character.
Armada
carries
Peach,
his
but
character.
Also Puff, Punish Game.
And Punish Game and just Fox. Like his not even his primary character. He revolutionized.
Mewtwo King was Punish Game before that.
Before Mango.
Yeah. And then PP is like
neutral game.
Yeah.
And Leffen is like. What happens when you do everything well?
Yeah, it's a different type of Punish Game too with Leffen. Option coverage too, I think, is what Leffen's. I think that's actually what Leffen's the best at out of everyone.
Yeah.
I feel like that's his defining trait. He sort of innovated a lot of Fox edgeguard situations where he does a bear that's not meant to hit an option they're likely to do, but it hits it if they happen to do it and gives him enough time to do something else.
My perception of Leffen is that he has like the fewest holes of any player besides Armada, maybe.
I agree, and I think that's why it stands out in edgeguards, because we think of edgeguards as a get through the holes scenario. Right?
Yeah,
that's how you conceive of it.
Yeah. So I mean, Armada leaving the field definitely is a shakeup.
Yeah, but I think it's good. I think it's legitimately good.
Yeah.
I don't feel like any of the players. The one reason it would be a really bad, possibly bad thing is that you need big targets for mid-level players, or mid-level quote unquote, but like
Rising
the
players.
next, you need big targets for people to take down to prove themselves.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of the people who are the next in line needed Armada anymore to make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
Because the people you think of, the only one who it's like, okay, of like the 5 best players in the world after the top 5, or like 6 best players in the world after the top 5, there's one player who, for their story, beating Armada, like say they become number 1 in the world, and without that, it's sort of lame. It's SFAT.
Yeah, I had a feeling you might say SFAT.
Yeah. Because Zane has proven himself time and time again. Amsa has done the same and innovated Yoshi. Axe has been around for so long. Wizrobe, again, is like basically the same story as Zane. SFAT, it still needs like a holy shit, he did something no one else could thing, you know?
You know, it might seem kind of bad for this to be the case, but it's possible that just no one was going to do it.
Yeah.
So Armada sticking around could have stagnated what the very top looks like.
Oh, totally. And that's why I said overall I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because for when we were all mad about how boring Melee was, it was because it was HBox Armada every time. And even if it's not that now, the fewer people we know in top 8s, the fewer people we know in summits.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to Summit.
He's not going to Summit. That's huge.
That's better for Melee overall, right?
And you know, this year was one of Armada's least attended years, and also one of the most exciting years at the very, very top level.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's not to say that the tournaments that he did attend were not entertaining. No. The tournaments he did attend were some of the most entertaining. But we got a really good mix of, you know, Plop winning, Mutaking winning, Armada, HBox, not Mango.
But I mean, I think Mango's gonna
Zane winning.
Mango's gonna quit soon, for real.
I think so too. I mean, he might. I feel like to an extent he's already quit.
Right. Yeah. That's why I said 3.5 gods are out of commission.
Because he still enters and he's still amazing at the game, but the drive to get better and like the fire to actually beat the players who are gunning for him isn't really there.
I honestly think Mango's trying to win one more major, and then he's gonna quit.
Yeah.
I feel like he has this thing of like, I can't go out like a buster.
Like a buster.
Right? So
sometimes though,
he was trying at Shine. Yeah. He still almost lost to Adamus.
He wavered quite a bit on whether or not he was trying.
Right,
he was like, I'm going Falcon, and then he's like, all right, screw it, I'm going Falco.
Yeah. But he it seemed like he was trying at Shine.
He played amazing at Shine.
Yeah. So I feel like he's really trying to win one last major.
Yeah.
I feel like he's trying to win Big House, and then
yeah, man.
I feel like he's trying to dip after that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be super surprised. I don't know. I mean,
oh my God, Armada won the rivalry forever, or the Genesis thing. I mean, he already had basically, like because he was so far ahead.
Yeah.
But he basically won it forever now.
It's time for some new storylines, man.
Yeah, they're already. I mean, that's why Plup won Genesis this year. That was a heralding.
The current storylines were reaching too far back, I think.
But that one's too. Mango Armada at Genesis would never get old.
but like now we can look at it and appreciate it for what it is, rather than having to rerun the storyline. Because now we got new storylines. We have Zane and Plup really shaking things up, and if Leffen enters everything, he might just never lose again. You know, we'll see what happens.
Wizrobe.
Yeah, PP always says he's coming back, but
I don't want to even talk about
PPMD
that.
is going to return.
That's not a storyline.
On the same day that the 6th Game of Thrones book comes out. So within the next 20 years.
George R. R. Martin has realized he doesn't need to write a book for people to love him, and I think PPMD has realized he doesn't need to come back to Melee to be PPMD.
I think PP likes playing and competing, but then again, who actually knows? There's too much speculation.
Did you see on Twitter there was a tweet? Which of these 4 retired players would be?
I think it
the
would be
best
top 10
if they came back right now, and it was PPMD, Drugged Fox, Crush, and I forget who the last one was.
Other reply.
No, it was.
It was someone else.
It was someone else. I forget who.
I also forget. Fiction.
He's back. We don't need. Did you see my argument with Fiction?
No, you got in an argument with Fiction?
I got in a Twitter fight.
Let's get into that in a second. But first,
Drugged Fox, easy.
Really?
Easy.
Interesting.
Easy. Crush either Drugged Fox or Crush. No way PPMD. Not when he just comes back.
What about after 6 months?
If they're competing for a solid 6 months,
Yeah.
probably still Drugged Fox.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think.
I would have to put my money on PP.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's still really plugged into the game.
So is Drugged Fox, though. Drugged Fox tutors every single day.
Well, I'm aware.
Yeah.
I know Drugged Fox puts hell hours in.
Yeah.
But I mean, so does PP in his own way.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, I'm a PP stan. Like.
Yeah. If Drugged Fox or PP or Crush are listening, come back and show us.
I think it would be Sammy.
Yeah.
Because also Sammy was about to become top 10.
Yeah. I mean, he's an amazing player.
When his 2017 was like, he had a really pretty lackluster first half of 2017, or first third.
Yeah.
And then his second third was fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like easily, if you just look at that, he's like a top 8 ranked player for 2017. And then he stopped playing.
So this is here's a train of thought that like just went through my head as you were talking. One thing I don't like is the amount of people on Twitter who say, like, oh, Drugged Fox would totally revolutionize the Falco meta if he came back. Like, maybe he would, but it's like filler tweets to me. Like, I just see it in my eyes just like go right past.
I mean, it's just because everyone loves Sammy.
I know, yeah. And I'm like, that'd be cool. And then my second thought immediately after that was, why are people not focused on like the sick players that we do have? And then my next thought was, we also are kind of lacking for Falco players.
Well, I think the reason why those tweets come out is because all those tweets are from people who play with Sammy all the time.
Yeah.
It's like Jared and K-Pan tweeting that,
Yeah.
So it's like they know that he is doing crazy Falco stuff. And if you talk to other Falco players, like those really good Falco players we do have, like Westballs and Ginger, I talked to Westballs at Shine and asked him about Falco. I was like, what Falco do you think is pushing the meta? And he was like, Drugged Fox.
I played Drugged Fox's Falco at SmashCon this year in teams. I know he's good.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do think he would, which is crazy.
But I understand. I'm just saying, like, I just want to see it.
Yeah,
I want us to have sick Falco players.
Yeah, no, me too. Me too.
So, this term has been floating around in my head over the past several months. Armchair top playering.
Who inspired that?
First, it was Junebug.
Really?
Yeah. Because I mean, like, you know how Junebug is, but he freaking got ranked in the top 50 without entering a single major. I'm like, this is the definition of armchair top playering. You put yourself into the top 40, and you didn't. The one tournament that it listed on his blurb was Pound Underground, which is literally in his backyard. And then past that, Drugged Fox does a little bit. I mean, it's fine.
I'm sure that's who you're thinking about when you're talking about
but
it.
The king of armchair top playering is Fiction. So let's spin that back around to this Twitter fight you got
it was so dumb. It's not even like related to anything.
I don't care. I want to hear about it.
Okay, Ben.
I did see this. I didn't know you got involved.
Ben played Aziz.
I was watching. I was in the Twitch chat.
Yeah, at some
Super Smashed Out in New York. Yeah.
And he lost in winners with his Sheik. And then, or did okay, I don't know.
Yeah,
with his
I didn't
Fox.
see the winner set.
Something happened in winners, and then in losers, he
started Fox game 1.
Started Fox, and Fiction was like, this is moronic because you're giving Aziz momentum.
Yeah.
And Ben took offense to it. Ben and Nico both took offense to it because they were like, you don't know. It was okay to discredit Ben's Fox a year ago. It's like not anymore.
Yeah.
He's a true dual main.
Yeah. For context, guys, Vortex is probably the best player in the world when he wants to be.
Yeah, he actually, I won't disagree with that.
So he went Fox game 1, and then he switched to Sheik after losing that game and lost the set.
Yeah.
And Fiction's argument, he was saying all this in Twitch chat, and like I was like seeing it happen, and I was like, this isn't the place to engage. But basically, he was saying like, you're giving Hax his favorite matchup, and therefore you've already lost the set.
I think the thing that pissed off Ben and Nico, it wasn't really him saying that. It was that he said, like, this is hopeless. He said something supercilious sounding
whatever he
like
was
that.
saying in the Twitch chat, I had the same reaction.
Okay, yeah.
Like, my reaction was, you are passing, like, a very final judgment on another player.
So Ben made a subtweet about that. And
he tagged him.
Well, first he made a subtweet about it, and
then
was like,
tagged.
dual maining is a viable strategy. And then Nico was like, I know what you're saying, and I fucking hate that guy. And then Ben just straight up tagged Fiction because he was like, I didn't want to be a subtweeting little bitch.
Yeah, he did say that.
Which is so funny.
Yeah.
And then Nico got into this whole argument where Fiction was like, why do you hate me? And he was like, because you're elitist and you come off that way.
Yeah, he said you tweeted that, like, toxicity is fun, and I get why people do it.
So that's when I entered into the conversation, is where Fiction said, oh my god, everyone attacks me for that tweet. And then he said, just another example, or like example of how people have no desire for nuance in human conversation.
I saw that tweet.
And I replied, I was like, that's a little ironic that you're saying that because you're pigeonholing Nico as some sort of like idiot who can't apply nuance, which is eliminating nuance from Nico. Like, Nico obviously cares about nuance.
Yeah.
People aren't as big idiots as you're making them out to be. But I phrased it as like, hey, so, you know, this is ironic, and also, like, I feel like it's one of those phrases that makes people think of you as elitist.
Yeah.
And he went, what do you mean? And I was explaining, like, what I basically ended up saying is, at the end, because he was like, oh, maybe we have different definitions of elitist, I was like, when you say something that implies not only that saying that the other person's opinion is wrong is fine. It might be abrasive, but it's not elitist in and of itself. It's when you say something like that that comes off with a tone as if they couldn't have ever even thought of it because they're not smart enough. Like, Nico has obviously thought about nuance and how Twitter reduces nuance.
Yeah.
Most people on Twitter have, even the people who just make shitty memes on Twitter. It's not that hard a conclusion to come to that online communication in 280 characters is not great for nuance.
Right.
But the way, so anyways, and then Fiction was like, I think people put too much stock on intelligence. It shows how insecure about it they are. And I was like, yes, people don't like to be made, I didn't say this, but I was like, people don't like to be made to feel as if they're stupid. Like, what a revelation.
Yeah, honestly.
But I was talking to this about Lego too. The reason why I engaged in it is I've talked to Fiction in real life multiple times before. Fiction is very nice in real life, and he does not come off as condescending in real life. He comes off as a really, really smart person who legitimately wants to talk with you and have conversations. And it's just what you said last episode. It's just that his Twitter sucks.
Yeah.
He just does.
That's the bottom line here, guys. That has not changed. His Twitter sucks.
I would not engage with Fiction in that way if I didn't think, from talking to Shep in real life, that he is, like, in real life, not a condescending person. He just comes off that way online so much.
Yeah.
I'm sure, I do think he thinks that he's, like, smarter than a lot of people in real life, and he is, but it doesn't come off that way in real life because his attitude is a lot more
right.
Like, it's
so
the same way.
So which is more true to him as a person?
They're both true to him.
Okay,
as a person.
yeah.
Online communication.
That's the right answer.
Yeah,
you communicate with people in different ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as Sammy in some ways. Sammy can come off as really supercilious too. If you ever talk to him in real life, he's such a sweetheart. It doesn't matter.
I don't know this for a fact, but I think Sammy has, like, made a conscious effort to come across more.
Yeah, he has.
What's the word?
Amicable.
Yeah, more amicably, more reasonably to people.
Yeah, I think he has. Yeah, no, I think just. But Sammy's like the same way, where Sammy has these opinions and he thinks they're very right, and when someone disagrees with them, he can be like a little bit, not like it just comes off as condescending.
Though in a lot of cases when I hear him talk about his opinions, like he's very open to the idea that like it's just an opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
I've often heard him throw around the phrase like, yeah, there's an argument for that.
I think fiction honestly thinks the same thing.
Yeah, it's possible.
That's the thing is, logic heads like fiction are such logic heads that he does know not everything he thinks is right. Like,
yeah.
He's well aware of that.
He's just kind of stepped back into the ring of Twitter.
Yeah.
And probably isn't quite as used to it as some of the others.
But the reason I did get into that fight with him is because, like, in real life, I find Shep to be a really agreeable, very smart person who's really fun to talk to.
Yeah, I met him in real life more than 2 years ago, but I remember it being a positive interaction.
He's like a sweetheart. He really is. So it's funny. It's funny.
Yeah.
He's legitimately, he's one of my favorite Melee players of all time.
Yeah.
I was such a huge Fiction fan back in the SSS days. That was who I would always root for to win SSS.
So I'm curious to see, I mean, this is like a very different conversation because, we talked about this last week, because he's already started to back up what he says with results.
Yeah.
So this would be such a different conversation if he wasn't clearly a good player.
But I mean, he has points about that too. So he lost to Ice Climbers a lot for a little bit. He lost to Fluid at Genesis, and he wasn't doing well against Army. And this is when he was releasing his Breaking the Ice Climbers video.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's so dumb that people are discrediting my video because I'm losing to Ices. And he's right.
Yeah.
It is dumb because the theory is correct, and also, like, he was the best Fox versus Ices in the world like 4 years ago. Like, he just fucked up Fly every single weekend.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
He still had a point there. I don't know. I actually was like, I was going to go over to my friends to play Spider-Man, and I showed up an hour late, and I was like, yeah, sorry, I got into an internet fight.
In any case, the Melee meta is definitely kind of up in the air right now.
Mm-hmm. We're not where you need to beat Ice Climbers every tournament anymore.
Yeah. And it's a really weird time because there's these shakeups happening right now where you have a bunch of locals where Fiction does well, a major that Zane won, Armada exiting the competitive scene, and there's really only a handful of tournaments left this year for us to actually see how the meta takes form.
There's Big House and Don't Park. That's
Big House, GTX.
Oh, I always forget about
Canada
GTX.
Cup. Summit.
Oh, true. Okay,
Don't Park.
Yeah,
so I mean,
right.
there's a
There's
good
few.
number, but in terms of big ones that everyone's watching, it's going to be Big House, GTX, and Summit. Don't Park's going to be big, but Don't Park is the first Ultimate tournament.
Right, so that'll be more of the focus,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah, no, I know. But I do think... I think... So we were talking about this earlier, and you were saying the meta seems to be like Fox, Marth, and then a singular Puff. And that's pretty much...
No.
No.
So I think a lot of people are throwing around the idea that the meta is Fox, Marth, Puff.
That's what I meant.
But not just HBox. I definitely think it's like there's reason to say that Puff.
That's true. The 10 Puffs that were at
yeah. I mean, there's been multiple tournaments this year where Puff has slowly been on the climb. I mean, you can look as far back as March at Full Blue, where Toussaint in losers simultaneously 3-0s or consecutively 3-0s Mike Hayes and Lucky, and in the same part of bracket, Michael beats me. You know, so Puff has been on the come up all year.
Yeah, in the middle part of the meta, 100%. I think that Summit's interesting because Summit frequently presents a snapshot of just what the top level meta looks like, especially because there's other players there who aren't just the top, but they're sort of irrelevant most of the time.
Yeah.
So I think what Summit is going to show is that at the very top level, that's less true. Because I really do think if Amsa gets into Summit, he's going to do really well again.
Okay.
I really, really, truly believe that.
He might get invited.
I just don't think... Yeah.
Without Armada.
Is it 8 who get invited?
Yeah.
Um,
Hbox, Mewtwo King, Mango, Leffen, Club, Zane,
he's 9
Wizzy,
over Axe's
Amsa.
10, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy.
That's cool.
That's also a really clear top 8.
Yeah. But I do think there's no reason to believe that Amsa's rise would stop. His other tournaments have been pretty okay. He had a shaky Evo, but like,
yeah,
I think at the top level he's labbed out some those matchups, Fox and Puff specifically.
It's crazy how he is turning into what Hbox was now, where so the meta is maybe dominated by a few other characters, and it largely is Puffs, Foxes, and Marths, and a little bit of Falcon sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
But there's only a single Yoshi player, and that Yoshi is capable of winning all those matchups.
Yeah. I mean, we still have to see him versus Zane. For sure.
Yeah.
Because we don't see him versus Marth of his caliber at all.
No, we don't.
Because M2K plays Sheik.
Yeah.
And
Amsa hasn't. The only Marth Amsa has played this year is Moon, La Luna.
And he destroyed
him.
Right?
Yeah.
That's not surprising. And I think he'll probably fuck Zane up the first time too. Because people are talking about how Zane has a lot of prep for the matchup, and that's true. And he has played, he's played that matchup a more than decent amount. He definitely knows the basics of it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be matchup inexperience, but you have to think, okay, Zane's going to come into this with his plan A game plan. Amsa's going to come into this ready for the plan A game plan because he has played a few Mars before, and then he'll have an easier time adapting.
I'm more confident in Zane in that matchup now than I was a few months ago.
Why? Did he play Lots Yoshi?
No, he may have. But just having watched Zane recently and having played Amsa myself, I mean, I don't have a lot of hard evidence to support my gut feeling on how well Zane will do. I still think Amsa's favored, but I think it's a lot less in the bag for Amsa than I would have said it was a couple months ago, and I definitely thought it was in the bag.
So here's a question. When I was watching Armada's stream on the way over here, because he was doing a little AMA, and someone asked him if all of the top 6 retired right now, who do you think would be the best player in the world?
That's a really, really good question, because it's not necessarily Zane, right?
I think Armada said this, and I agree. He benefits the least of the top of the 4 after that.
Yeah. So, because the next 3 best players are all really hard for Zane. Zane might even be 4th.
I think he would be.
Behind Amsa, Axe, and Wizzy, right?
Yeah, but who do you
Who's first?
Yeah.
I mean, Axe might be first.
I think it's Axe.
Yeah, that's that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy that it's just his terrible It really is. The biggest thing for Axe is that he has 2 nearly unwinnable matchups in the top 6.
Being
Armada
and Peach.
Armada and Hbox.
Yeah.
And one of them's gone.
Yeah, man. Axe has been kind of low recently, I think.
Yeah.
He hasn't been competing that much. He kind of keeps to himself, but I would love to see a revitalization of Axe's play.
Well, we'll see if he gets into Summit.
I have trouble seeing him being auto-invited.
Yeah, I sort of do too, because I don't know if he'll go to the Mango. I mean, he should, though. It's close to him.
I don't know, man.
And then Big House.
I imagine he would campaign. He would get in, obviously, if he campaigned.
I don't think he's an obvious lock at all.
Really?
No, not at all. I know you love Axe, but I think...
He's the best melee player by far.
A lot of people see him as sort of just a gimmicky mid-tier still. People get tired of seeing
You guys are dumb if you think that.
I
He's
think
the best melee player by far.
I agree, but I think people get tired of seeing Pikachu.
Yeah.
To put it bluntly.
Honestly, I don't think people think that hard about the gameplay when they think about Axe. I think they think Axe is sick, and I don't know if it goes that much further.
He's from a really weak region for voting, is the main thing.
Really? You don't think they would rally around him?
I just don't think it's a big region.
Yeah, it's not big. That's true.
Like, do you think Southwest would be able to come up with a ton of Summit money?
Well,
like they were just last place in crews.
How much a region supports you? It comes down less to number of people and more
how much money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's hard to. We can't know.
I will say they were just last place in crews, but that was because like 4 of the 5 people for Southwest are like not going or don't know if they would go to Big House, including Axe. He said maybe. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, the Summit field will be really interesting. Still not sure if I'm opting in or not.
You should.
I'm leaning towards doing it.
I think you should. I think you'd get in.
Yeah, we'll see. It's just I have to balance it with my work schedule, you know? And voting happens like while I'm at work.
Just quit your job.
Well, I mean, that's always an option.
Yeah, I don't know. You mentioned when Ultimate came out that you might take a break from Melee too, so it's like a good.
I know.
It's a good way for you to do a little send off to Melee for a little bit while you focus on Ultimate, and then go to Sweden and beat Armada.
Dude, if I knew for sure that I'd get into Summit, like it'd be a much shorter conversation. It's just the whole process I know is draining, and I have a lot.
If you want to get in, you should start doing it now so you can get tri-state support.
Yeah.
I think that you have a huge chance of getting in because no one really knew who Toussaint was when he got in. Like, we obviously did, but no one knew, and Tri-State rallied behind him and got him in. People know who you are. Your clout has also gone up a lot over since the last summit.
Yeah.
Like, you're a more visible public figure now because of this. Because of me.
Yeah, thanks, man. Carrying me on your back.
And you have Tri-State support behind you, and you can be like, I'm #1 in Tri-State now.
Yeah.
And then people will be like, oh, #1 over IBDW, because they're idiots.
They are idiots. IBDW is so hard to beat, man. He's good. Yeah, like I said, I'm leaning towards it. I mean, I'll know for sure by like Big House because that's when all the campaign stuff kicks in. You
do it now. You can get La Luna to endorse you. You can get other Marth players to endorse you. Get the whole Marth Facebook chat behind you.
Thank God Zane's already going to be invited, right?
Yeah, I mean, you might have to. I actually don't know because you remember I said Kevin earlier, but Kevin has said he's never campaigning again.
I don't think he'll opt in.
Yeah, so unless he auto qualifies, which he totally could.
Yeah.
I could totally see him.
Well. Oh, you mean by placing?
Yeah, by placing.
Sure. Yeah. He totally could.
He could totally win the mango.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. You know who he didn't say was going to win the mango last time, who definitely is going to win the mango?
Who?
SFAT's going to win the mango.
Yeah.
SFAT's going to stay stone cold sober the entire time.
Yeah. If he doesn't qualify through Big House.
He's going to grind super, super fucking hard the week beforehand.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that'd be so stressful. Just putting your hopes on getting into Summit literally on like 2 days before. My God, I couldn't do that.
SFAT's going to do it, and then he's going to play Army in Grand Finals, and Army will go. Or West. He'll randomly lose to West somewhere in losers he always does. Oh, it's great.
I don't even want to think about that tournament, man.
Right.
Just thinking about that tournament stresses me out.
Well, since you're stressed out, let's take a break for now.
All right.
And we'll be back with more stuff soon. Hey guys, Zane here, as always, just chilling at home and editing the podcast. Sorry that it's coming out a little bit late. We decided to record on Tuesday this week instead of Monday because of the Emmys, which, that was interesting. You see that guy proposed to his wife? That was cute. And he was flexing too, because he won for directing a variety show. He was like, hey, Emmys, you're not going to give this award to yourself next year because deal with this shit. Although they dealt with it pretty well, cutting to the women. So although there were some editing troubles. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the Emmys. Hope you guys are enjoying the episode in general. It's a crazy episode, Armada retiring, right? It's a long one because we had a lot to say. I want to thank our patrons. Haven't done this in a while, but we got a few new ones, so I figure I should shout you guys out. So our patrons, Matt R., Jordan D., Michael G., Greg S., Pierre A., Sam B., Grant Y., Gabe K., Phil N., Jeremy L., David, Butt Templar, and Potato. Thanks. I think Butt Templar or Potato has upset David as my my number one favorite patron name. We'll be doing another patron live chat sometime this month, so stay tuned for info on that. It's not a super hectic month, so it shouldn't be a big deal. I'm also sorry that I was playing with the case for my recorder at the beginning of this episode. That led to a bit of audio interference. I know I have really anxious hands, and I'll try to not do that next time. Just tape my hands to my sides next episode. We haven't done a shout out in a while, and I'm sure everyone who listens to Analog knows about these podcasts, but I did want to shout out Save Melee and Off the Sticks, which Save Melee is with Chroma, Jackzilla, and the cheat Mikey. It's really good, and they're trying to save Melee. I like it a lot. It's a really cool format, actually a format that I was thinking about doing for a while with viewer call-ins, which is great. I mentioned it last week. And then Off the Sticks is like... Yeah, I actually don't understand how Slime and Ludwig are so consistently funny. Dude, did you see Ludwig in that Hotels.com ad? It was crazy. But that about does it. This has been a little bit of a long message. Watch those podcasts. Watch our podcast. Watch our podcast first. Call in to Save Melee about Analog, actually, I think is what you should do. I hope you guys are enjoying the episode, and more to come. We talked for a long time after this, too, so, hey, just a big episode. Been a while since we had one of those. Okay, bye! Hey guys, we are back, and I wanted to, we talked about this during the break, I wanted to ask you a question.
Yes.
So we were talking about Marth, Fox, Puff being good.
Yeah.
I have a semi-theory for like why Marth has gotten better and better recently.
Okay.
And you said it's because just Marth players finally started doing the things they should, which is totally true. But I feel like, in general, one of the big changes in the past 3-4 years of Melee is that people have gotten really, really good at smash DIing. And a lot of Marth's bread and butter combos are less affected by smash DI, comparatively.
Yeah. I don't think that's the reason.
You don't?
No. So the way I see it, like, for Marth to be consistent in the meta, you have to be good at so many things. Mm-hmm. And I think Marth and Falco are two of the few characters that are affected by that. Mm-hmm. And like for all this time, Marth players have just had a number of holes in their gameplay, which is, I mean, we haven't seen a single solo Marth do this well after Ken and Azin, and that doesn't count because the meta is so different, and people are tested more vigorously now. We haven't seen that until Zane, who doesn't have those holes and who's able to play pretty much every matchup.
Right.
And at least that we've seen so far.
Okay. That makes sense to me. But maybe it's that in comparison, like I definitely feel like one of the reasons Falco has gotten worse is because people got better at
I was
going to
say, the only character I think that would be affected by, or the character I think affected by that most is probably Falco.
Falco, right? Yeah.
And a big reason for that literally could just be that a single SDI input away is enough to put you out of shine range.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's pretty big.
It changed Falco a lot.
Yeah, more than other characters.
Yeah, it changed Falco a lot. If you guys look, you guys know the West Balls combo, like the classic one on Leffen at Beast, or at whatever tournament that was.
He was Beast, I think.
Yeah, the one where he has a side B and then he grabs and it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
That combo, compare that to a West Balls combo from 4 years ago. It looks completely different because that combo, Leffen SDI is fucking everything, and it's Wes like making a ton of reads and then like using grab and using up tilt and stuff to cover the smash DI.
Yeah.
But Wes combos from 4 years ago is like he hits you and he juggles you and hits stun and you die.
The only Falco that that isn't as affected as Mango's, because Mango's punish game has always been so mix-up heavy anyways.
Exactly.
And I honestly think PPs wouldn't be super affected anyways, because a lot of it is winning neutral multiple times.
I agree with that, except I do think he'd have a hard time against Marth.
Yeah, I could see it.
What PP was frequently really well known for is that he gets the pillar combo timing perfectly every time, but SDI up gets you out of that now. Because it's actually sort of a mix-up where if you do the dare too strong and they don't SDI, then you won't get to the ground quick enough to up tilt.
Mango's really good at that.
Yeah, he's gotten really good at it too.
Yeah.
But if you do the weak dare, like where you started at the very apex and then come down with it, so that they're just in hit stun long enough for you to shine, but they don't get sent too far down. If they SDI that up, then they can get out of it.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit of a mix-up. Obviously, there are certain percents where you can cover both options with a certain amount of knockback, but it's something, I don't know. I agree that he'd be less affected, but yeah, he'd still be a little affected.
Yeah.
I do feel like Marth is one of the characters least affected by Smash DI from the other player.
Yeah.
I try to SDI up so hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think Marth players are also used to mixing up which hitboxes they're hitting you with anyways.
Exactly.
Just because of the nature of Marth's attacks.
Right, yeah.
And like, Falcos could be doing that, maybe. I don't want to speak for Falcos.
I think they could.
But like, that hasn't always been a part of Falco's metagame, so that's something that maybe people have to catch up on. It's hard to say until we really see it. I mean, we do see it a little bit with Mango.
I think I was playing, like I said, I was playing Lego earlier, and so, okay, imagine this scenario. It's FD, he has me in a grab, it's 54%. He up throws me, and I slight DI behind, and he does a turnaround up tilt and gets the sour spot, right?
Okay.
So it's gonna send me away, and I should land, and he's not gonna be able to grab me because he didn't get the tipper. He can't follow up with an up air afterwards.
Yeah.
I SDI like 2 SDI inputs up, and he just runs over and grabs me because
you gave him more time.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was like, that's where if he hits you with the tipper up tilt and you get the SDI up, you can potentially jump out of the up air.
Because you go really, really high.
You go really, really high. So, and then you're still fucked because you have no jump and you just jumped out of a combo.
Yeah.
But it's one of the only ways to not get hit again.
Yeah, you get a landing mix up.
It was
yeah. So this is something that I mentioned to you earlier this week that I wanted to talk about. One, what do you think most people's tier lists look like? And two, why?
Why are they
how?
wrong?
Why? What?
I think most people's tier list looks like Marth, Fox, Puff.
In some order.
In that order, or
Marth above Fox.
Yeah, I think. Well,
I think most people still put Fox, Marth, Puff.
Maybe. But in those three, Falco, Sheik,
Falcon Peach,
Ices, Samus, Yoshi.
Yeah. So then my question is,
or Pikachu's in there.
Is what is your criteria? Because I don't think I've ever seen a tier list that had consistent criteria. It's like, is what you're asking who is the best character on paper? And if so, that actually doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't.
We can only guess at best as to what that means. And I guess you could say that guess is what your tier list is. But then people often talk about like like what's realistic and how that should affect your tier list.
I think the tier list should legitimately. I just think we should have more, and they should reflect the meta. Because different.
So how do you define the meta? Is it just the characters that are winning? Do we weigh them relative to how good the players are who are playing them?
I think that tier lists should be dictated by techniques that players are using, at least on a semi-reliable basis.
So then the two best characters in the game are Puff and Peach.
Why?
Because
they're easy to do things with?
Because those are the characters winning tournaments using reliable techniques.
No, but they're losing a lot more. They're losing matches. Well, Puff... I think right now it would be it's fair to make Puff a tier list with Puff in the top 2. If that's what we're aiming for with the tier list. Peach, no, because she loses a bunch of her other players lose all the time.
Okay.
So you don't just do the top level.
So then you get this weird place where you're trying to gauge how good the players using the characters are relative to where the character...
Yeah, but you just say small sample size. That's a totally valid reason to say, well, we can't just do it based because Armada beats everyone with Peach. Small sample size, that's it.
Okay. But same with HBox. Like, what if he's that much better than every other player?
Yeah, true. The reason I said it's fine with Puff is because, like you said, Puffs are doing really well right now that aren't HBox.
But still, none of them are in the top 20.
Yeah.
We have a Peach better than the next best Puff.
Yeah, I know.
We have 2 Peaches arguably better than the next.
Yeah,
best
but
Puff.
you're arguing against a straw man here. Itai is obviously not a top 20 level player of skill, but he's doing well against other players perceived to be better than his skill with Puff.
Yeah. So does that? So then, yeah. That
So right now, people are finding it hard to beat Puff as a character.
Yeah.
Because when you put a Puff player of a given skill level in contrast with someone who is around that skill level, right now it seems like the Puff players are doing well.
So that's what I want to get at, is like when people are talking about tier lists, they're usually talking about which characters are best.
Yeah.
And my point is that doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't.
So what you're saying is correct.
Yes.
Like that's what tier lists should be like, and they should be updated more frequently.
Yes. And right now it does make sense to have the tier list be
Fox, Marth, and Puff in the top 3 in some order.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it totally does.
And Falco below Falcon? Peach?
That one is really hard to say because there's not below Peach. There's no reasonable argument to have Falco below Peach. I think there's
Why?
Nothing. Because, okay, the reason why it's hard with Falco versus Falcon is, again, you take the characters for, you have to you do factor skill level.
Yeah, okay.
You do think about it.
To try and estimate.
And Falco and Peach are some of the only characters who have such a dearth of players in one range of the skill level we use to talk about this.
Yeah.
There's just so few Falcos in the top 50.
There's like top 5, and then there's like one more Falco and one more Peach.
Yeah. And Jigglypuff also too, but she's different because there's so many right below that, and there aren't that many Falcos.
Yeah. And for context, guys, you have at the top for Peach, Puff, and Falco, the characters we're talking about, you have Hungrybox, followed by what, Toussaint, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Pick your Puff.
Yep.
And that would be in the 30s, 40s range, right?
Yeah. And for Falco, you have Mango,
at
Wes,
the top 5, and then Wes Balls
in top 20, and then Ginger in top 40. He's like 30 something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then below that, it's like Squid.
So question marks.
K-Pan.
Yeah.
Mega Christmas.
I know we're forgetting someone. Santi always gets ranked high.
Yeah. He doesn't count.
Okay, and then...
He especially does. Santi should never be evaluated for any tier list because there is... You know Sam Smith? This is going to be a really extended thing.
What, like the artist?
The singer?
Yeah.
Okay. There was this tweet the other day that was like, okay, Sam Smith started reading this book called A Little Life. And it's this gay book that was a big thing a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Like it's a gay love story. And he tweeted about it the other day, and someone was like, I actually have a theory that Sam Smith's just living like 5 years behind the rest of the gay people on Earth. because he thought he was the first gay man. Like he just hadn't seen Milk. Milk didn't exist yet. I mean, there are other openly gay, but that's it. He just didn't see Dustin Lance Blackman.
Right.
So he has a theory that Sam Smith is actually like Sam Smith was complaining about Grindr and how it's a shitty app in like 2016, and everyone was like, we've
been through this.
We know.
Okay. Yeah.
We've been talking about this. So that's Santi, is my point.
So he's the Sam Smith of Falco.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, Santi is the Sam Smith of Falco.
Yeah.
He's a genius, smart player.
He's an anomaly.
I respect him more than I respect Sam Smith's music, but he does play like a fucking 2014 player.
Yeah, I saw him tweet. He was like, man, people are going to rank me no matter how few tournaments I enter.
As if he's mad about it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So that was... So Puff and Falco, and then Peach, obviously Armada, top 5, followed by Laud, followed by Triff.
Who's top 20?
Yeah, top 20, followed by Triff.
Top 30.
Top 30, followed by Bladewise, top 40.
Yeah, Peach has more representation
than the other.
Than Falco.
Yeah, and Puff.
It's just that none of those players go to things.
Yeah, the Peaches have not been showing up.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean... Do I believe that as a character, Falco is better than Puff? Yes. I do think...
So what does that mean? Better? What does better mean?
I think that there's a lot more development to be done with Falco, and a lot of the Falco players have holes in their gameplay, and he is a character that requires you to not have holes in your gameplay.
So that's the language that I like.
Yeah.
When you talk about characters
and so currently, right now, Falco is suffering because a lot of Falco players are suffering.
Yes, yeah.
But if a Falco player were to come around who were the consummate Falco, do I think we would see that player be very successful? Yes.
Yeah.
I think that the problems with Falco right now have to do more with the players than with the character's inherent limitations.
Yeah, so we agree that there is room for Falco to grow from this meta.
And if you're talking about inherent limitations and potential, even at a human level, then I'm fine with your tier list having Falco. I don't really care about tier lists in general.
Yeah.
So if Falco's anywhere in your top 4 except for number 1, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I can see an interpretation of Falco being positions 2 through 4. That's fine. If you think Falco's the best character in the game, you're insane.
So I mean, if you're looking, so with what we discussed in mind, let's talk about what it actually is for this meta.
Yeah.
Fox.
It's still good.
Puff, Marth. In some order, S tier.
It's really weird that you said Falcon before Sheik.
I didn't say that.
Well, you said Falcon above Falco. You think Sheik, Falcon, Falco?
Yeah.
Sheik, Falcon, Falco?
Yeah, so I was going to say A tier then, the 4th best character would be Sheik. Because I think Sheik is like developed, doing well at most levels. Right? Yeah. Pretty much every 10, there's at least 1 or 2 Sheiks.
Falcon.
So Sheik, then Falcon, then Peach, and then Falco. Right?
Maybe.
I mean, Falcon, you have Wizzy and Johnny who are pretty consistently...
But that does sound wrong to me, is the thing.
It sounds wrong and it feels wrong, but that's what I'm saying, is that there's like a cognitive dissonance in tier lists because people can take that criteria that we laid out and they'll be like, yeah, Falco's top 5 still for sure, or top 6, yeah, okay, but putting it below Peach and Falcon definitely feels weird for a lot of people.
I think one of the issues is like, people say all the time Melee doesn't change, which is, aside from UCF, like true in that the game itself doesn't change, and people bring that up as, it's so funny because people will bring that up as an example of how people have discovered new things and the meta has shifted all these times, and the meta shifting means that you should have new tier lists. There don't have to be inherent changes to the game, especially when you have stuff as groundbreaking as like you like learning that you can DI out of Falco's down air shine. It changes the game. It makes Falco, until people find a solution to make him a better character, like to beat that or to rely on something else, it makes him worse. It does. the discovery of shield dropping. Listen, shield drop shine is great for Falco. Shield drop laser is great for Falco. You can't down air someone on a platform anymore. A Fox is going to shield drop shine you. A Marth or a Sheik are going to shield drop forward air or up air or fairy you. A Falcon will shield drop up air you.
There's now a mix-up where there wasn't before.
Right, yes. Where before it was entirely safe as long as you don't get shield.
Now it's like you have to, like, if you want to make it safe, you do a really late dare shine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And even then that can totally get hit.
There's counterplay, yeah.
Yeah, you can still shield drop and hit that.
And you can wait for the shine.
Yes. Or you can delay your shine so you hit the shield drop on certain characters.
Yeah, so now that's when now there's layers of mix-ups where before Falco was like, sick, I dared you on a platform.
Right.
Even though you're shielding, I have control.
If Falco's shine were the size of Fox's, he would be the second best character in the game, 100%.
It would definitely help. He'd definitely be better than he is now.
The SDI stuff wouldn't matter as much.
Yeah.
The shield drop stuff wouldn't matter as much because... God, I get so angry when a Fox does the worst drill of all time on my shield, and then I try to
shine it. I know.
Or you can't shield drop shine it.
Yeah.
Or like, you can as a Fox run up and drill a Marth on a platform, and the Marth, if you're behind them, they'll try and shield drop up air, and you'll shine and you'll hit them out of the up air.
Yeah.
It's like, cool. Falco can't do that.
Yeah.
Falco can't do that. That's why the new meta is you down air someone on a platform, and then you down smash.
Okay, you could.
It's not actually terrible. It's like a super. It's like
trade.
It's like all of no, but it won't trade.
Oh really?
Because
your legs
charging
are invincible.
animation makes you invincible.
Yeah, your legs are invincible.
No, it's actually not terrible. It's about the same use as like pivot down smash with.
Yeah,
Marth.
but you had to read the. You had to read the
shield drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if they wait for the down smash, then you get punished harder.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Get grabbed.
It's like using down smash with Marth. It's like basically the same. Which is also super unexplored.
Yeah.
Pivot down smash in neutral will someday become a somewhat real thing.
Now you're speaking my language.
It's actually, I actually think that's insane. It's super high risk. Don't get me wrong. But
I know.
It's like a frame 5 kill option.
I've been talking about pivot down smash for...
Pivot down smash is so crazy, dude.
I've like...
It's so hard to land, though.
I've like danced around someone's shield and then done a dash back pivot down smash to kill them.
That's so sick.
Because like, you either call out their movement or if you wait long enough, you just shield poke them.
You know what makes it really funny is that the matchup it's the best in is the Ditto. Like,
yeah, that's true.
It's so good in the Ditto,
that's true.
Which makes Marth Dittos even dumber than they already are. I try to do it in the Ditto all the time because you just get people dash dancing, and it doesn't matter that Marth is low profiling with that. Like, you can try to pivot F smash a Marth, but if he happened to dash back at that moment, it'll just whiff. Yeah. Where if you pivot down smash there, it'll hit him. It's faster.
Yeah.
Pivot down smash is so sick. I love that.
I know, man. I was just talking to Chillin about pivot down smash with Samus. Now that's something that Samus can start using now. We've had like the craziest net play sets recently, and for some reason we're not recording them. But I approach him with Falco. I trade with his pivot down smash. So we both go flying off stage because he pulls me off.
Right.
And he kills me with charge shot off of the pivot down smash.
So funny.
Yeah. Shout outs to Chillin. Chillin and I are teaming at Big House.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he gonna go Samus?
We talked about our team. He was like, yeah, I'm really gonna have to brush up on teaming with DK. So and here's my response to that is the really great part about the DK Samus team in Melee is that while Samus controls the ground,
shut up,
DK controls the other ground. And that's how you play teams in 2018.
Oh, God.
Folks.
Oh, God, that's horrible.
So get ready for that at Big House 2018.
Wow, that's horrible. That's so much.
I can quote Chillin. He said, "Why is your DK so good? Put that on a plaque."
Pivots are still underutilized by every character.
Yeah, pivots give DK a forward approaching option.
But they
think
do.
about it. Yeah,
They
it does.
do.
He doesn't have any other way to move forward in the air except for nair. But getting pivot back airs approaching.
Actually, the top Falcon players use pivots pretty well. That's maybe one of the characters where they use it fairly well.
The Falcons and the Marths.
Yeah, but there's still so much that can be done with Marth. There's something that can be done with Falcon too, but
the
Falcons
the core,
pivot F smash, they pivot F tilt, they do that shit.
The core, like if we're looking at the potential of like least effort, maximum yield for utilizing pivots, like Marths are there.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Falcos should use it more.
Yeah, but he has one of the lower yields. He still has it.
Yeah.
Runaway pivot dare is good to bait approaches. Pivot bear, Westballs does pivot bear to approach, but
when I'm fighting Puff and Peach with Falco, I react to their DI off of my jab and I can kill them with back air.
Oh yeah, I do that. I do that too.
With pivot back air.
Yeah, that I do that too. But it's way lower than other characters.
For sure.
I think of the top tiers,
Ice Climbers I think can use it too.
Yeah, Ice Climbers.
On DI in, they can get pivot smashes and pivot regrabs. Sheik, I think, uses it too. I wrote an article on this on Dignitas like months ago, so check it out.
Sheiks have been unintentionally using pivots longer than anyone.
Really?
Okay, you've never been in the situation where you see the Sheik player foxtrot and then try and dash attack you, and they do the pivot F tilt instead, and it's so good. It's so good.
It is really good. Pivot F tilt is one of the harder things to accomplish.
It is actually. But I feel like it's one of the things that's harder to accomplish more because we haven't practiced it yet. There's reliable methods to pull it off where you press the A button as you pass through the non-cardinal, and
So we're kind of like tackling the issue that we brought up earlier, where there are certain characters where the players are not doing what they need to do to push their characters as far as they can in the meta. This goes all the way back to the first time we talked on this couch, which was when you interviewed me last December.
Oh, true.
Young Link. When I talked about Young Link.
You think Young Link has a lot of stuff that could be done?
Why are Young Links not destroying mid-level floaty players?
Because no one plays Young Link. What Young
There's
Links?
Bambi. What are you doing, Bambi? Other Young Link player. You know.
So, yeah, I feel like we solved that one. People don't play that character.
All right, guys, I got you covered.
Oh
Once
my
Ultimate
God.
comes out and I start taking a break, you'll
like
start learning so much about all these characters.
That's like asking, why aren't all the Game & Watch players abusing their good matchup against Captain Falcon?
There are some good Game & Watch players.
There's one. There's one.
We saw Curb fight S2J, and he lost.
Yeah, so Curb's the Bambi in this situation.
Yeah, Curb, what are you doing? Why did you lose to S2J?
Oh my God. Why aren't all the Pichus using the 50-50 matchup on FD like M2K says against Fox?
Why are the Pichus... Why are the Kirby's not zero-deathing the Pichus off a grab?
Kirby... Inhale is a bullshit move. I just want to say that. It's not actually good, but... I don't think Kirby's as bad as I used to think he was, because when you really break it down, if you hard read and inhale, if you just camp the edge and hard read and inhale someone, hard read their approach option, you can kill them.
That's
if
true.
you have enough damage on them.
I've always said Kirby's better than people think, man. Kirby's definitely not the best character or worst character in the game.
Who do you think is? I'm sure we've talked about this
Bowser,
before.
for sure.
You think Bowser?
Oh, yeah. No question.
Yeah, that might... I think Zelda's pretty terrible.
She has more, like, the utility she gets out of the 3 useful moves she has is more than Bowser gets off of any other move he has.
But the middling utility Bowser has of his somewhat useful moves lets him be a little less predictable. And that's why I sort of feel like he might be better.
I think you can play most characters, including a lot of low tiers, in such a way that it doesn't matter if you can't predict what Bowser does. Like, you can run away from him.
That's true. But Zelda, you literally just run up, and then when she jumps, you shield, and then you win the game. As long as you're not...
Yeah,
like,
I mean, she's pretty
shielded.
bad, but I think she's better than Kirby and Bowser.
You think she's better than Kirby?
Yeah.
I think...
Because Kirby, same thing. Like, I think Kirby's better than people think, but there are definitely ways to just negate Kirby harder than you negate Zelda.
And then above them, it's Roy, right? Because Roy's really, really
Roy's
bad.
the next.
Roy sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes I feel like, no, Kirby really sucks. But Roy is really, really bad.
Kirby looks really good until you start jumping.
Yeah, God, dude.
When I fight people and I just like wrecking them with my Kirby, I'm just like waiting for them to start full hopping. Because if they don't, they're going to get wrecked. Because Kirby's normals are amazing. And Kirby on the ground is really hard to hit.
Yeah, the real way every Kirby player wins is, this is actually, if you've played a Kirby, you're going to immediately react to, like, sympathize with me, I guarantee you. The way every Kirby player wins at least one of their games they play against someone is the other person shields because they know Kirby can't do anything to them. Kirby runs up and fares the shield, and then the person gets hit by the fourth hit or the landing hitbox. And then Kirby gets a grab. That's how it's actually so hard to get used to.
But the big brain Kirby is you mix up the drift on the forward air. You either cross them up, go for up tilts, or you do a fade back forward air and you start down tilting, try and shield poke them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kirby's got some stuff on the ground. But again, most characters can just full up and all of a sudden Kirby can't catch you because Kirby has some of the worst aerial drift in the entire game.
Yeah, he really does. Yeah. I don't know. Roy sucks.
Yeah.
I really used to think Roy was like, it's like, he's Marth. He's so bad.
Yeah.
He's so bad. Like, I'm not even talking about when I first started playing Melee. It's just like, holy shit, you just hold down and that character loses.
Yeah. Before I forget to bring this point up, just to loop it back a little bit to what we're we're talking about tier lists.
Yes, please save us from this.
So when we talk about tier lists and how people aren't really sure what they're asking when they talk about high tier and top tier, I think the same thing applies to matchups. Oh, okay. When you talk about character matchups.
Okay, expand on that.
So when people ask me, do you think Marth beats Sheik? I don't know how to answer them. So I actually just don't.
Well, that's also a hard one to answer either way.
I think most top tier matchups, the answer is the same, where it's not. I'm not going to give you a ratio because what are you asking me? People are like, oh, like so and so beats so and so in practice, but on paper it's like 75, 25. So I don't think it's a useful question to ask. And what I usually tell people who are asking, so there's two types of people who ask me this question. One, people who are just curious on my opinion, and two, people who are wondering for the purposes of getting better. For the former, like, I usually make up an answer when they ask me. Okay. We're like, yeah, it's 50-60 Marth. For the latter, I try and tell people to focus on the tools that your character has and the tools that your opponent's character has, and utilize them to the best of your ability. And there's a lot of different frameworks that you can use to analyze matchups. Like something I had talked about with Duck recently is a winning matchup, quote unquote a winning matchup. The winning character should be able to do things that are high reward that can't be punished without being hard read.
Well, okay, so I think talking about this it's useful to discuss where the idea of matchups comes from in the first place, because what you just said, can do something high reward without being hard read, or without hard reading. Like that makes sense to me.
It's like how close can you get to a game plan where no matter who you are, you can win this matchup?
Right. So that's valid to me, and I get that as a definition of a winning matchup. But the reason that has to be the thing for Melee, like the way you define it, is so matchups come from, in terms of us using them as terminology, it comes from more traditional fighting games, specifically Street Fighter mostly. And the reason why it's hard to give easier matchups in Melee is because of the execution barrier. Harder to give definitive matchups in Melee is because of the execution barrier.
Because the difference between on paper and reality is a lot
so different,
bigger from other games.
In Street Fighter, if someone does an option, in neutral, which is a lot of the time where matchups are, in Street Fighter, most matchups are determined in neutral because punish options are not super variegated.
Yeah. Punishes work on most characters the same, right?
Or if they don't, you have a different punish on that character, and it's close to the same a lot of the time.
Yeah.
That's not always true, but a lot of the time that's true. But so it's determined in neutral, and doing an input in neutral in Street Fighter is a million times easier than doing an input in neutral in Smash.
Yeah.
Because in Smash, a lot of the time, it's like, okay, Falco's coming at me with a dare, and I'm Fox, and I can get my shield up in time. I can dash back grab. You know what I could also do that just makes Fox win this matchup is I could dash back pivot up smash. That beats it. Falco can't dare against Fox. There we go. Fox beats Falco because Falco can't dare against Fox because every time Falco dares, Fox should just dash back pivot up smash. No, I mean, that's obviously not how it works, right?
Yeah.
So because pulling off the techniques that really do beat options is so hard, and it's also that the pace of the game lends to even doing the simple thing like dash back grabbing. Like, you're not going to dash back grab every Falco down here because aside from lasers and neutral being fast and stuff, you also like you have to react and do it, and it's hard.
Yeah.
Whereas in Street Fighter, you actually most of the time just have to react.
Yeah. With the added, I mean,
this is a huge oversimplification of Street Fighter, by the way, and I know that. But
Yeah.
But that's why matchups
there's a lot more variables, yeah.
Like the 70-30 matchups and stuff.
Right. It comes from how different the theory is.
Right. You think of it, so matchups like that, they're percentages, right? 70% versus 30%.
Yeah.
And what that translates to in Street Fighter is 70% of the option pairings or coverage, like you do this move, I do this time, this character wins.
But
like that's almost what it translates to.
Those neutral options and punish options are the same no matter how much damage you've taken.
Yeah. That's also
and in Melee, like literally your defensive options change as your percent changes, and your offensive options also change as your opponent's percent changes.
Right. If you guys ever have played Stamina Melee, where every character's knockback is fixed to as if they're at...
The matchups are probably more straightforward in Stamina Melee.
They probably are. But you know what character's really bad in Stamina Melee? Well, she's not really bad, but she's worse. Sheik is not great in Stamina Melee because you can still crouch cancel a lot of her attacks.
That's true,
Not all of them, because I forget what the percent you're at is like. It's like either 40 or 60. I mean, let's look this up. What percentage are you at in Stamina Melee?
Seems like 20%.
Yeah. 50% if dead. Wow, it's 20%. So Sheik sucks in Stamina Melee.
Yeah, you need to get Sheik or you need to be at 24 or above for Fox to get knocked down by F-tilt.
Yep. So Sheik sucks in Stamina mode.
Yeah.
It's like an impossible matchup, Fox versus Sheik in Stamina mode.
Yeah, and that's a fixed point throughout.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about the Sheik Fox matchup, you have to take into consideration how difficult is it to get Fox past 24%. After that,
and it is hard, which is why that matchup is still bad for Sheik. But one of the reasons.
Well, that's the question. It's like, how do you say it's bad or good?
Right. It has to be more goal oriented too.
Yeah, and that answer maybe could change depending on what the meta looks like. Because what are we asking?
Well, I mean, okay, let's say we find a way to confirm. Like, there's a flowchart thing where suddenly when you get a needle charge, you're going to get a grab almost every time if you hit Fox with a needle, which is not at all true right now. But say someone manages to lab that out, which this is a completely unrealistic scenario.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking in complete theoreticals,
Okay.
right? Like when you hit someone with some amount of needle stacks, it'll lead into a grab. Suddenly, now you just need to get one regrab, basically, 2 regrabs, and you've gotten to 24%.
Yeah.
Although, also, it still sucks for Sheik until Fox is at like 50% because she has other moves other than F-tilt too that she has to deal with crouch cancel on. Her ASDI down. But
Well, my basic point is that, like...
I botched that because it's really hard to think of some optimization she could get to make it easier to get past 24%. Like that, it is sort of pretty fucking hard.
I mean, my summary would be that the disparity in matchups for those top characters that we're talking about is pretty negligible at most relevant levels. And I think people seeking out matchup ratios doesn't really matter.
Seeking out matchup ratios, sure. But there's definitely still matchups that are harder for one character than the other, and going into that with that knowledge can affect how you play the game and how
that's purely how you perceive your knowledge, though. Like you can be in a state of mind where opinions on matchups don't affect you at all.
Yeah, for sure. But like, if you I don't know. Like, Jigglypuff Peach is still a hard match.
Given what evidence?
Currently, the tools that Peach players have lose out to a lot of the tools that Jigglypuff players have.
Is that why the only Puff beating Peaches is H-Box and all the other Puffs lose to Peach?
That's not true.
That is true.
What, because of, like, McCain beating
McCain,
Tuesday?
Bladewise, Lod have all beaten all the Puffs that they played this year.
Is that really true?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Never mind.
I'm glad you brought that up because that perfectly demonstrates my point. People talk all the time about how Peach can't beat Puff, and it's like, well, is that true? I mean, does that mean that Peaches just shouldn't go Peach versus Puff? Because clearly, if it's not H-Box, like, the Puffs are not invulnerable to Peach players. Mm-hmm. Emerald City, Toussaint got second, losing to Bladewise.
Yeah, but that's... Again, it's hard to say that that's just because of... I feel like that's...
The matchup?
Yeah, I feel like that was, at that time, Two still was around, like, he was a lower skill level than he is now.
Okay.
And secondly... You can't take one set as evidence, obviously.
I'm taking all the sets.
I know, but you just mentioned that one, so I'm talking to you about that one now. But that one's different because Two's experience with Peach is against a very specific style of Peach that Nico and Kilmer, who are different players, but they both fit in a certain trend, play. And Teddy plays completely differently. And
okay, so we're saying that there is room for Puff to develop that matchup. For most Puff players to develop that matchup.
Yeah, and Teddy showed a way where he beats a Puff.
What Puff's doing now.
But let's also not pretend that Two is amazing at the matchup, because he still lost to Nico and Kilmer like a decent amount.
Yeah. But again,
and
like...
Nico doesn't think he's good at that matchup.
But
like himself.
But people like look at these matchups and they use it to inform decisions.
Yeah. I know what you mean. You're totally right. Like it's we see Two barely beating Nico is a bigger deal because it's Peach Puff.
So I mean, all I really want to accomplish is not like change people's minds on whether they think how. Well, no. Okay, let me.
You do want to change people's minds.
I want to change how people talk about matchups fundamentally. Because I think fundamentally people talk in absolutes where there is not an absolute.
Yeah, I think people have honestly shifted away from that mostly. The only time it gets brought up a lot is like if it's involving Marth or Fox.
Yeah, I mean, I still get asked all the time about non-Fox matchups for Marth.
Yeah, but do they ask you, what do you think this character wins?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's stupid. People are idiots.
Literally all the time. They're like, do you think Puff beats Marth or Marth beats Puff? Or do you think Marth beats Sheik? I get those questions all the time. Falcon, too. Mm-hmm. And again, I mean, I told you how I answer. I come up with something different every time.
Yeah, but also you got to understand most of the people asking that are using it as a shorthand for probably the question that you actually want to hear, which is what do you think about how this matchup has looked recently?
Right. So without them giving me a more specific question, the only prompt I'm getting is give us your full length thoughts, and that's a long answer. So like I want to help people learn how to ask better questions so that I can give a more specific answer. Because like most people can say like, "What do you think about X, Y, and Z?" and they're not actually going to learn anything from that because they don't know what they're trying to ask.
This conversation has just gotten so ridiculous because you're also the guy who will just go, "Yeah, DK beats Marth."
It's all part of the same. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is that like, look at the evidence. I played Zane's Marth with my DK and I beat him. Ask him yourself. Look at the results screen. He quit out. I took a picture. It's on Twitter. Down B outspaces down tilt, man.
And then Marth loses.
All last weekend I was playing DK on netplay, and who was I playing? Where they were like, I've heard rumors of your DK, and
You mentioned this to me, actually. I forget.
I forget who I played, man. Oh, I was doing some stuff to Marth this weekend. I don't think...
Oh, it was Jack. It was Lego. You played Jack.
Was it?
Yeah, that's why I heard about it. Because Jack
I was gonna
told
say
me
I don't
about
think
it.
I told you.
Yeah, it was
so
Jack.
he told you.
You played Lego.
So we
right?
we have an independently verified source to this story.
I'm pretty sure because I've been hanging out with Lego because
Okay.
he's been home for the past week
Word,
and a half.
yeah.
Yeah, and I
There
think
you
it
go.
was him who said I've heard rumors because he's just grinding netplay all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So DK beats Marth. That's the summary.
I love Lego so much. He's the greatest Marth player in the world because he thinks Marth is a dumb character, and like he's been playing Falco on netplay. He's like, Zane, I don't know how you do it. How do you play this character? I play a Marth main and I just get so angry.
I've been playing so much Falco, DK, and Samus on netplay recently.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
been a good time.
elite
Samus I only play
cast.
on stream, but DK, man. Oh, I should have been recording all the DK sets that I've been playing. I might go DK at Big House.
No, too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Armada retired, so
On that note,
you're done.
Armada was the one I was gonna beat with DK, man. You know how good I am at DK Peach?
You know,
Remember that time I got down air back here on Nico?
I do remember.
And you didn't believe me? Yeah. And 3 people have verified it.
After all this talk, it's just, DK.
It all circles back to my DK.
You know, we've talked so much about talk about the tools the characters in the have in the matchup.
I literally
blah,
just
blah, etc. And then I think about Peach versus random mid tier, and I'm just like, no, she beats all of them.
No, dude, DK's back here nullifies Peach's float.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and he kills her off of a grab.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to money match my DK with your.
I do not play Peach.
Okay.
I think that Peach is probably like, if you did a ratio of how good the character is to how good I am at the character, probably my worst.
Interesting. That actually is not surprising to me at all. I think that's the case for a lot of players because Peach is like a pretty unique skill set.
Yeah, I think
A lot of the movement and techniques you learn with characters can transfer to others, but not with Peach.
She's just also the only high tier I never play.
Yeah,
like
sense.
just never. I hate playing Falcon, but I play him sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I play Luigi.
I love playing Peach.
Play Pikachu.
I like playing all characters.
Yeah,
except
I know.
Roy.
Yeah. Roy can be fun sometimes, but
I play Marth, man. What? The only reason I want to play Roy is if I feel like down tilting someone.
I actually find Kirby really unfun to play.
I think Kirby's mad fun until someone starts jumping, but then
I
I
know.
switch.
You press the jump button and you're like,
Yeah.
this is what melee is supposed to feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. All right.
Yeah.
I think that does it.
I think that's good.
But guys, we said this already, but
a new age.
It's really a new age of melee. I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited for Axe to actually be the best player in the world.
Guys, enjoy these last few months because in December everything changes.
If I'm Axe, I'm labbing the Puff matchup. Well, not because he seems a little down and not super motivated. But like, if you want to be the best, you just lab the Puff matchup right now, because his other greatest weakness is gone.
Yeah. That's an insane thought, where if he can beat H-Box consistently, he can beat anyone.
If Axe can beat H-Box consistently, the only player that I would favor against him is...
I have 2.
Plup.
And Leffen.
Oh, I forgot about Leffen.
Yeah.
I forgot Leffen exists.
Yeah. I don't think we talked enough about Leffen this episode.
We didn't talk about Leffen at all this episode.
I tried to sprinkle him in here and there, but we keep talking about the gods and technically he's not a whatever.
I forgot about Leffen. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I do think if Plep can beat H-Box, if Axe can beat H-Box consistently, then he ends up being like the third best player in the world.
Fourth, right? Behind Plep and Leffen and H-Box.
No, he'd be better than H-Box though. Because then he starts running into H-Box and bracket and killing and sending H-Box to
And H-Box
losers.
would have to fight either Axe or Zane if Zane...
Exactly.
That'd be...
If
Guys,
Axe,
anything can happen now.
I'm actually, he's the only one of the top 10 that has never beaten H-Box, right?
Yep. That's crazy. I'm excited to see what happens. Again, everything is going to change once Ultimate comes out, and I don't know how because it's impossible to predict, but I really do think that the landscape is going to shift pretty dramatically.
Yeah, me too.
So this is definitely an interesting few months to be following Melee, and we'll be doing that every week.
Until Rishi quits Melee.
And then this will be an Ultimate podcast, and
we'll get a new co-host.
It'll be called Ultimilog.
Oof, good note to go out on. Holy shit. All right, bye guys.